you ready for today's activity? I know I am ready and I am excited. We are going to be making a little marker print. I don't know how well you can see that. Very reminiscent of the artwork done by artist Andy Warhol. I'm going to show you a picture of that. I'm going to grab that from my phone. Very reminiscent of his art. So get ready, and in case you forgot or you missed last night, you are going to need for materials, and I think I repeat this again, you're going to need styrofoam of some sort, like a plate, a pair of scissors, washable markers, paper, and a damp sponge or a washcloth of some kind, and a pencil. So those are the materials you're going to need. And let's get started! Woohoo! Art rocks! Alright guys, so some of the supplies you are going to need for today's project, if you missed last night, heads up on that, is a styrofoam, piece of styrofoam. You can use meat trays. You could also use styrofoam plates. Whatever you're available, sometimes packaging from Amazon. You'll also need some washable markers. Crayons are really, really good, but they've got to be washable for this. A pair of scissors, some paper, a pencil, and a damp cloth or sponge, a nice wet damp one. Okay, so what we're going to be doing today is some print making with markers and styrofoam. All right, so I'm going to take my piece of styrofoam. Now if you're using like a light colored meat tray, because you're going to be coloring on the styrofoam, you can just cut those curled up edges off. Now I'm actually not going to use this piece because it's black, so I wouldn't really be able to see, you wouldn't be able to see the coloring I do very good, so I'm going to actually use the piece of white. So you could use the whole piece of styrofoam if you want to, just cutting the edges off that are curved up, or you could cut into smaller pieces, which is what I'm going to do with this. So with this plate, because I'm going to use that, I'm going to cut a little section out. So what I'm creating is basically a little stamp. All right, so cut all that stuff off. All right, that's table cutting here. All right, get all those little curved edges off. Now, put that down on the paper. All right, now I'm going to take a piece of paper and I'm going to trace and cut that paper out to match my styrofoam sheet. That one out. All right, now you can draw any image you want on this. You could even just do like a fun little flower. But one thing to remember is I wouldn't put any words on here because we're going to be printmaking. The image is going to flip. So if you put words on it, they're going to be backwards. So you probably don't want that unless you're able to write backwards. Or if you have tracing paper, you could always do that. And I know most people don't have that at home. So I'm just drawing a little image. Just for me, I'm just drawing a simple image. Put some leaves like that. In there, whatever you want to draw. Maybe you want some polka dots in the background. Now, if you use a bigger sheet of styrofoam, you can obviously draw a whole picture if you want to. Patterns and designs look really good on these when you print them. Okay, maybe I'm even going to do some type of design in my flower. Now, if you're ever working with patterns or designs, you can always go online on a site like an app like Pinterest or Google, and they'll give you many varieties of patterns and designs if you get a little stuck when you're creating your work. Okay, so there's a fun little flower. Now, I'm going to take this and put it back on top of the styrofoam piece that I had cut ahead of time. And I'm going to trace over what I drew, and I want to give it a lot of pressure, and the paper is probably going to rip. And that's okay, because what I want is this image to transfer onto the styrofoam. So even my little dots that I did, okay? I want this. Use your muscles and press right in. Okay. it'll still be a drawing underneath. And then I lift my paper, and as you can see, the image is there, but I'm gonna wanna go back over it and dig deeper because some spots didn't quite come through. So I go back and I dig and press into those images. All finished. Now you're gonna take those washable markers to color in your image. So I get mine out. Let's see. I love the color yellow because it reminds me of the sunshine. So I'm gonna do that. Now I can color each section in here different if I want. I'm actually just gonna go in the middle with all yellow, but it depends what you're drawing and how you wanna color it. Now, sometimes that color is not gonna be really bright on the styrofoam, but don't worry because when you print these later, they're gonna come out much more vibrant. Now my petals. Oh, I gotta say, I'm a fan of pink. I just love it. Oh, and you know what? That's a blue one. How'd that happen? Get this. So give it some color. Color, 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 color. Okay. I'm going to take my white paper. Now, I don't have to cut this paper if I don't want to. That is totally up to you. But I'm going to show you right here. I take my paper. And I'm going to take my wet sponge or my wet cloth. I can't find a sponge in my house. And I'm going to like wipe the water on my white paper. You don't want it to be soaked. You want it to be damp. It's pretty good. And now I take my marker, excuse me, my styrofoam. I can press it on or I can do the paper over. I'm just going to press it down onto the paper this way. And you need to press it with those muscles. Press, 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 and rub around the paper. You really got to press and rub really hard. And then you lift it. And look at that, boys and girls, you have a little marker print. How cool is that? Now I can color this again, and I don't even have to color the same way I did. I'm gonna wipe it off and I'm gonna color it again. I can keep stamping if I want to, all different ways. So let's see, let's do another one. Let's do another color flower. Now I'm gonna put orange in the center. Move this out of the way. Now, if you do get that paper a little too wet, it's going to make the marker run a little bit, so it won't be quite as crisp of an image. So just, you have to be careful with that. Now I'm going to do yellow petals. So see, this isn't very bright, but I'm just going to change, could be the marker too, but usually that's just because it hasn't been printed yet. Once you get that water on there, yeah, it's not the yellow. So you don't really see it very good now on here, but it's going to show up when I print my image. That in there. I'm going to do my leaf the same again. And this time, I'm going to do, let's do a red background. Okay. Red background right in there. Okay, and push it to the side again. Get that paper back out, and just in case it dried a little bit, I'm gonna wipe again with that wet sponge and press it down. Go to good muscles. Rub, rub, rub. Push, push, push. And then lift. And look at that. And you can keep doing it. All different colors and make a whole really cool image. Actually, once you do that, it kind of starts to remind me of that artist Andy Warhol. Maybe I can get an image up to show you guys. As you start to repeat it. He's got a lot of repetition in his art. Alright, guys, so I went ahead and I did some more prints. So now I have this really cool piece of art with repetition in it, and repetition is repeating. And I was talking to you earlier about this artist, Andy Warhol, that this reminds me of. And here is, I had to use my phone. I don't have my images from the school with me, but here's an example of one of Andy Warhol's pieces. And obviously you can see the resemblance in the prints we're making today. And this happens to be Marilyn Monroe, who is a famous actress from long ago, like in the 50s and that. And my mom, who I'm sure is watching this right now, oh, just lost it. She's pretty excited because Marilyn Monroe is like her favorite. So I want to give a shout out to her. So anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this today, guys.